Alright, what's up, guys? Steel Twins back at you with another video. As you know, yesterday the Steelers released their initial 53-man roster, so we're going to be talking about that. We're also going to be talking about the final releases of the other players that we had, and we're also going to be talking about the practice squad players as well. So let's just get on right into it.
Right, so we're just going to give our thoughts and opinions on the releases, and because there were a few controversial cuts. So, but before we get into that, you guys may notice that we are very red in the face. And
extremely red.
And no, it's not some stupid shit where our cheeks got extremely red to the point where it's spanning up to our foreheads. No.
Yeah, because I know how so many trolls like say, "Oh my god, your cheeks are so fucking red," like back in that Cowboys video. It's like, shut the fuck up. Like, you guys probably look like fucking ogres. You know? Not fucking showing your goddamn faces, you fucking trolls.
Hey, but you know, sometimes we gotta laugh at ourselves. You know, it's a normal thing that happens with us. But anyway.
Exactly.
Well, but yeah, to explain it, we were at a family barbecue. We played a little kickball, a little football. So, and it was the sun was beating down on us all day. So
yeah.
Just want to throw it out there because I know some of you guys are gonna shoot at us for why our faces are so fucking red compared to the last video. But anyway, let's get into it. The final cuts, and we're here on Steelers.com, by the way. Punter Matt Weil, very expected, but I'm hearing he signed with the
Vikings, I believe it was. So I'm sure he'll get the starting punting role right there.
Right, and he'll find success elsewhere because he has a strong leg, strong foot himself. So
yeah.
Running back Jarvian Franklin, Jarvian Franklin, James Summers, and Fitzgerald's son. Yes, Fumble Fitz was released. And apparently I heard that he visited with the Colts today.
Really?
So he might be signed or what, but his time in Pittsburgh might be up.
It looks that way. I mean, especially with the very good depth that we have, you know, with Samuels and Ridley.
Right, and he has
Connor, of course, Bell.
Of course, and he has no fit. So
exactly. Where's he going to fit? Plus, you know, with the addition of Ryan Switzer, where's he going to fit in the return game?
Exactly. So
it makes sense getting rid of Fitzgerald's son.
Right, and speaking of the wide receivers, Trey Griffey, Quadri Henderson, and Tevin Jones, all expected. And we'll get into Quadri Henderson later in the video because something shocking happened to him. Tight ends Bucky Hodges, Farrell McKeever, and Christian Scotland Williamson. Offensive linemen Larson Graham, Patrick Morris, Oni O'Malley. I apologize if I pronounce any of these guys' names wrong. R.J. Price, Jake Rogers, Chris Skuluger, cornerbacks Brian Allen.
Which I was actually shocked, by the way.
Yeah.
I really was.
But he did get signs of practice squad, which of course we said we'll get in later in the video. Deshaun Phillips, Malik Reeves, and Jamar Summers. Linebackers Keon Adams, which was extremely shocking.
I was extremely shocked because, quite frankly, in my opinion, I thought Adams performed better than Chiflo. But I guess they want to go with the experience depth at the linebacker position, which makes sense. But I just thought he was outperforming Chiflo each and every preseason game.
And he had a very great preseason after some hype. So it was very shocking to see him cut, but you know, it was something happened to him today. So we'll get into that later. Matt Gallimos and Farian Huenian and defensive lineman Parker Cothran, Joshua Frazier, Greg Gilmore, Levon Hooks, Casey Sailors, and Kendall Vickers.
So those were the following players that were released by the Steelers.
But two of the main ones is safety Nat Burhay, who has actually resigned with the Steelers.
Yeah, so somehow he's going to be a part of the 53-man roster. The thing that's really going to be curious is who are we going to get rid of?
Yeah,
in my opinion, it might be Zach Banner, but I wouldn't be shocked if it's, you know, like maybe Dangerfield or something because he did make the team. However, we do need depth at the offensive line position, and Chuck Okorafor can't do it all himself.
Of course. First of all, I just don't see us keeping 6 safeties.
And no one surprised me because with this new dollar formation that we're trying out, what the heck just hit my
fly on your fucking neck?
Yes, sorry.
What a fucking jagoff! Holy shit! And this is uncut. We're not editing that out. That was hilarious, by the way. Just saying that this is uncut.
Okay, but anyway, yeah, we released safety Nat Burhay, and the biggest one out of all the following players that were cut, quarterback Landry Jones.
Josh Dobbs gets the backup. Well, first of all, we don't even know who's going to get the backup role. It could be Dobbs. It could be Rudolph. We'll see what happens.
Quite frankly, I think it will be Dobbs because I think he just had the better performance overall out of all the other 3 quarterbacks that played.
And that's the thing. That's one of the reasons why he made the roster is because that alone makes him deserving to make this roster. I'm glad that we're keeping Dobbs. Now, you guys know how negative we've been on Landry Jones, but I will give him this. He was in my honest opinion, he was a successful 4th-round pick. You know,
I mean, he was. I mean, you got to think, in that year's draft, I don't think we kept anybody besides him.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, that remained with the team, you know, till now.
Right, and we drafted him to mainly take over that Charlie Batch role to be the long-term backup.
Yeah, because Batch was getting too old. I think he actually retired after that.
Yeah, and that's why we drafted Landry Jones to be the long-term primary backup.
I will say this about Landry Jones. He did what he could. Obviously, he couldn't go out there and perform like a Ben or an A-Rod or Tom Brady or Drew Brees.
And
nor did we expect him to,
of course,
like he was going to say, but he did what he could, and I can respect him for that. I can respect what he did for the Steelers. Yeah, I do. In just my opinion, I just never thought he was a great backup.
Yeah, and I have to agree. But he did come in, he did what he was told, and he succeeded most of the time. Now, was it based on his performance on the field? One can argue. In my honest opinion, not really, because
I think so.
I think the players carried him most of the time. However, I will give him credit and respect for being a very loyal and successful backup for the most part.
Yeah, and when he had to be in there, you know, he did what he could. Right. I can respect that from Landry Jones.
Of course, but it was just time to move on from him and Josh Dobbs. And at this point, our chances of finding a franchise quarterback increases because now we have two options, two young backups that can just continue to develop. And you guys know how high we've been on wanting Josh Dobbs and Mason Rudolph battle when Ben hangs him up. And it seems like we're going to get it.
Exactly. And if you don't mind me saying this, I wanted to say this, and I forgot to say this in the Panthers recap video. You got to think of how the generation of quarterbacks is being nowadays in the NFL. They're being a lot more mobile. It's being, you know, sort of run first, pass second guys. That's what Dobbs is.
Right, so dual threat quarterbacks are expanding.
Exactly, and bringing that to Pittsburgh as a backup can really be effective for this offense.
Exactly, and he can be like another Brett Hundley, only much better, and honestly more successful.
Yeah.
And either way, whoever wins the starting backup role or starter backup role from when Ben is still playing, whoever gets the primary backup role and whoever gets the backup role when Ben retires, can't go wrong either way because they're both very talented and they're both only going to get better with development. And with Josh Dobbs making it, I'm extremely glad because he is very deserving. And honestly, if you ask me, either way, no matter who is at backup quarterback, we were kind of fucked if Ben went down. Yeah. But I do have more faith and trust in Dobbs just because he has progressed more than Landry Jones ever has, especially in his second year. He is way ahead of Jones at this point.
Absolutely.
And I am much more confident in Dobbs at this point. Plus with his double threat ability, and he is phenomenal on his feet.
Absolutely.
You can't really be too mad at this.
Exactly. And Landry Jones, you know, I will say this: thank you for what you did in Pittsburgh. You did what you could, and I can respect it. And I do wish you in your future endeavors.
Of course,
whatever team you go to.
Of course, and I know some of you guys are saying, but Landry Jones has the experience. You know, why would we not keep that? But I'm gonna hit you back with this one. What has that experience transitioned onto the field? What has it done? Have you seen any improvement from Landry Jones? Like we said, we will give him credit for being a very successful and you know, loyal backup.
Right.
But his experience never transitioned onto the field.
Yeah. Well, we gave him so many times, especially with the first team reps, and he could just not develop one bit.
And you see what Dobbs is doing, his progression in this is only his second year.
Yeah.
And he's progressed way ahead than many of us have ever thought.
Exactly.
So imagine him, you know, as the backup and just developing even more, along with Rudolph. So can't be too mad at this. And I'm very glad with this decision.
Exactly.
So Landry Jones, good luck on your future endeavors, and I actually have to thank you for your duties as the backup.
Yeah.
You know, I'll give you credit. You know, you were a good, successful, and loyal backup, but that's really all I can say about you. But,
yeah.
You know, anyway.
But those were the final cuts of the Steelers. Brain fart here right now. What the heck? Why did the fly back on me?
Okay, I gotta kill that motherfucker when this video is over. I swear to God, because that thing is pissing me off. Anyway, those
were the final cuts by the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Right.
That's what I was trying to say.
Now we're gonna go over the practice squad, which was announced today. And some of them were very shocking. Two players that, off the top of my head, that didn't make the practice squad is Joshua Frazier, who was our 7th round pick, obviously, which is very shocking knowing the Alabama connection with him and Carl Dunbar.
Exactly. You know, I really thought that Frazier could really develop into a very nice backup and take some pressure off Hargrave, you know, because I don't think McCullers is going to last, you know, with the Steelers, you know, next year.
Of course.
This year, yes, but next year I don't think so because I think Frazier was going to develop, especially with Dunbar as the defensive line coach.
Right.
But I was really shocked. Now I'm kind of, all right, I hate this line, but I was a little disappointed how they didn't, you know, put Frazier into the practice squad.
I know.
It would have been a very nice develop, you know, D-tackle
backup,
yeah,
right?
Exactly.
Because he could have developed a year, and with the connection with Dunbar, you know, it was almost a match made in heaven for a backup situation. So.
And if I stutter, I'm sorry. This freaking fly is distracting me, and probably him too. Sorry.
And another player that shockingly didn't make the practice squad was Quadri Henderson. He did not make the practice squad, which is shocking because, he didn't really get too much time to show himself. But when he was on the field, he did look pretty good.
Yeah, he did.
And we said that he needed a year or two to progress, and with that, with us, he could have succeeded well.
And that could very well still happen, with another team. But with us, I think it could have been, great for him.
Right. This kind of reminds me of when we got rid of DeMarcus Ayers. Now, granted, us getting rid of him wasn't really our fault because he denied a spot on the practice squad. But, it is similar. They both have similar playing styles. They both have similar potential in them.
Exactly.
So, I don't know, man. But, anyway, these are the 10 players that made the practice squad. Keon Adams, we got him back, thankfully. He deserves
absolutely.
it. And I want to see him progress more and him be a great backup. Maybe even a starter because he has potential, seriously. Cornerback Brian Allen, he made it. Glad to see that.
Absolutely, because I still think he's still raw, but I still think he's got a lot of potential.
A lot of it, and he can be a great rotational backup eventually, and a good special team player. Running back Jarvin Franklin, that's good. We've been high on him, and we've said that he can potentially be the next Terrell Watson for us.
I really think so because I love his run style, and I remember this one play against the Panthers. He trucked this one defensive lineman and knocked him down onto the turf.
Yeah, for the touchdown. So.
I really think Franklin could very well develop to a nice maybe third, maybe fourth string running back if we carry for him.
Right, he'd be a phenomenal short yardage power back.
Exactly.
Which is how we use Terrell Watson, which is why I say he can be our next Terrell Watson.
Yeah.
So, possibly even better. So.
Wide receiver Trey Griffey, which I'm glad because I love his size and he can still develop into a nice backup potentially.
Right, and sports are just in his blood. He is the grandfather. Or what the fuck? He is the grandson and the son of Ken Griffey Sr. and Ken Griffey Jr., who are famous baseball players, obviously. So he has sports in his blood.
Yeah.
So he can definitely succeed, and he looked pretty decent from what we saw. So, and tight end, Bucky Hodges, good to have him back. You guys know how high we've been on him. And depending on what the tight end position is, because it's not looking too good, because I'm hearing Vance McDonald got hurt.
And he could very well be on IR.
And I
think, really? Or
yeah.
Whatever. And I think Grimble, is still dealing with some injuries. So if there's a chance he could make the team, I really think, they won't have any problem signing him up because I still think he's got some potential as well.
Absolutely so. And defensive end, Levon Hooks, he's been on the practice squad for the past 2-3 years, and this is no shock, He's just going to develop and have a shot next year. So, right. Linebacker Farrington Hewinen.
Same thing with him with Levon Hooks, Could very well be could develop into a nice backup, but we'll see what happens.
Right. Receiver Tevin Jones, after that 2-touchdown performance against the Panthers, that really sealed the deal for him.
Absolutely.
And he could develop and potentially fight for roster next year. Center Patrick Morris, that was expected. We need, and every year we have a few defensive linemen on the practice squad to develop. And with Mike Munchak's magic, we see, and that's why Zach Banner made the roster.
Exactly.
So, and we'll get into that later. And of course, R.J. Rice, which was kind of expected. But and one player that is not there, and some people are worried, is Damon Patterson, but it's because he is injured and heading to IR because I can't remember the exact injury. I think it was turf toe he suffered against the Panthers, and that's why he's not
I believe so as well.
But when he is healthy, fully healthy, and off IR, he's more likely going to make the practice squad or potentially even the team. Who knows?
Yeah.
But speaking of IR, these are the list of players that are heading to IR. Are Damon Patterson, Marcus Tucker, he's another name that can make the practice squad. Joseph Cheek, Malik Golden, he's another one. And
that's our linebacker Keith Kelsey.
Yeah, so
those are the guys that are going to be on the Steelers IR right now.
Right.
And the main guy that I'm really interested is obviously Damon Patterson.
Right, but I wouldn't sleep on Marcus Tucker and Malik Golden because they showed some slight promise when they got them right.
And some progression as well.
So those are three names to watch out to potentially make the practice squad as well. So
yeah, exactly.
Anyway, that is the final cuts. The final cuts.
And the practice squad members and the injured reserve players that we got. Now it's time for the 53-man roster.
Right, and we'll go from quarterback all the way down. Ben Roethlisberger, obviously. Josh Dobbs, obviously. Mason Rudolph. I think that's a very great quarterback core right there. And like I said, with Dobbs and Rudolph, they're just going to develop.
Yeah.
And I actually hope that Mason Rudolph, not to cut you off, but I hope Mason Rudolph actually redshirts his entire year, kind of like how Dobbs did last year. Because look at what's done for Dobbs. Imagine what he can do with Rudolph.
Exactly, especially since Rudolph is looking to be the future, but yet again, like you said multiple times, Dobbs and Rudolph can very well fight, and like you said, it could make them progress and get better.
Of course.
And that is what I love.
Right, and either way, you can't go wrong, because like I said, they're both very talented and have a lot of potential, and could be the future for this franchise, honestly.
Exactly.
So.
Running backs, Le'Veon Bell, but he's not signed yet. I'm sure he will soon. James Conner, Jalen Samuels, and Stephen Ridley.
Yeah, we're going with 4 running backs. However, when Bell officially signs his tag and is activated to the roster, we could eventually cut one of these. It could be Ridley, or we could cut another dude. Who knows? Maybe Dangerfield, but because we got Nat Burhay back, who knows? But at the same time, there are a few players that could be heading to IR, possibly Vance McDonald, possibly even Morgan Burnett. I'm hearing Burnett is very injured. He might be heading to IR, and he honestly might need surgery with his injury, which I don't know what injury it is. I didn't even know he was injured.
Yeah, neither did I.
So he's probably heading to IR, which might give Burhay the spot for the roster. But when Bell signs, we're going to have to cut someone. Who was that? I don't know. We're going to see what happens.
Right.
Wide receivers: Antonio Brown, Juju Smith-Schuster, James Washington, Darius Heatherby, Justin Hunter, and Ryan Switzer. No surprise there. Tight ends: Vance McDonald, Jesse James, Xavier Grimble. No surprise there. And of course, the
fullback is obviously Roosevelt Nix.
The offensive line is, of course, Marquise Pouncey, B.J. Finney, Ramon Foster, David DeCastro, Alejandro Villanueva, Marcus Gilbert, Matt Feeler, Chuck Okorafor, and Zach Banner. Zach Banner is probably one of the surprises to make the roster, but because of Munchak's magic, because remember, Banner was a 4th-round pick for
the Colts.
Yeah, the Colts last year, and he didn't really get too much opportunity. But when you bring him in with a Hall of Famer like Munchak, his magic is crazy. I mean, look what it's done for many players in this league, like Kelvin Benjamin. Alejandro Villanueva, he was a defensive lineman for the Eagles before joining with us, and Tomlin liked his size and switched him to offensive lineman. Look at him, he's a Pro Bowl fucking tackle.
Exactly.
That's crazy,
look
man.
what happened to B.J. Finney. He was an undrafted guy. Now he's looking to be the potential replacement for Foster.
Of course. And look how I even throw his name in the hat. Cody Wallace.
Exactly.
Remember when Marquise Pouncey was...
Cody Wallace, I mean, he didn't have a great year, but he did some nice blocks here and there.
Yeah,
Cody Wallace was able to do fine.
Yeah, he filled in decent, and he started every game when Marquise Pouncey got injured in 2015. So, Munchak is crazy, man.
Exactly.
Seriously, so.
Exactly.
And Zach Banner, he's been looking pretty good, so he can develop either way and be a great backup. And maybe replace that role that Chris Hubbard filled in, which is another name that Munchak has made great.
Exactly, Chris Hubbard. I mean, he signed a 5-year, multi-million-dollar deal with the Browns.
Yeah, so.
I don't know. We'll see what happens.
It's crazy. It's crazy what Munchak can do with these players, man.
Exactly.
Seriously.
Exactly. Inside linebackers: John Bostic, Vince Williams, Matthew Thomas, Tyler Matakavich, and L.J. Ford.
5 inside linebackers.
And we're going to need that because of Shazier's, injury.
Exactly, and we need any option we can get.
Exactly.
So now I don't know who's going to be the start. It might be Bostic.
Quite frankly, I think it will be because he's progressed, more than Matakavich has.
Yeah, I think he just has more experience overall. However, don't sleep on Matthew Thomas, who eventually steal that spot, or even L.J. Ford.
Exactly, because Thomas and Ford have been all-out stars in preseason.
Honestly.
I was more shocked with Ford.
Yeah,
because I wasn't really big on him. Now I kind of am because he's been, showcasing a lot.
Right, exactly. But the 5 inside linebackers, it makes sense with Shazier's injury, and, we just need to fill the inside linebacker position badly. And we have a few players. There's really one player that just sticks out to me that could really, now this might be wishful thinking, but that can really steal Shazier's spot is Matthew Thomas, and he's showing a lot of potential, so don't sleep on him.
He got the size, he got the speed, he's got nice tackling ability, he can be decent in coverage, he's a great run stopper.
Right. He's a phenomenal tackler. He shows a lot of great effort in the game.
And I believe he was actually supposed to, I think it was the number 1 inside linebacker coming out of high school, I think it was, before going to college. Or something like that, but he suffered, off-field issues and suspensions and stuff like that. If it wasn't because of that, I think he would have been a first or second round pick.
Right, but this guy is just a diamond in the rough, man. He might have been a phenomenal undrafted free agent steal.
Exactly.
So we'll see what happens,
it's
man.
Possible.
But outside linebackers, T.J. Watt, Bud Dupree, Anthony Chickillo, and Ola Sukami Adeni, he made the roster very deserving.
Absolutely.
Again, it sucks to see Keon Adams not make it, especially with a 3-4 defense. I think 5 outside linebackers just fit.
Absolutely, because they always did that when Arthur Motes was with the team.
Of course, because I remember one year we had Jarvis Jones, James Harrison, Bud Dupree, Arthur Motes, and who was the other dude?
Oh yeah, what was it? Shoot, I'm having a brain fart.
Let's see, Jarvis Jones, James Harrison, Arthur Motes, Bud Dupree.
Was it Chicklow?
Yeah, Anthony Chicklow. Yeah, correct. Anthony Chicklow. So.
Yeah, it was.
But either way, Keon Adams, with development, he could be a great backup. He could potentially steal Chicklow's spot next year.
And you got to think it is kind of smart to have 4 outside and 5 inside because of Shazier's injury.
Yeah, and
you got to keep all the inside linebackers that you can.
Right, exactly. So I mean, we'll see what happens. But
and Danny, I'm expecting him to develop into a great backup, potentially starter. Because if we decide to trust Dupree in the inside, position, inside linebacker position, maybe we have Oladeji play as outside.
Yeah, maybe.
Who knows?
Because that's something we discussed for a while. Maybe switch Bud because his size and speed is something we need at the inside linebacker position.
Yeah, that sideline speed.
Him switching inside might be better. And honestly, it gives someone like an Oladeji or a Keon Adams a shot.
Exactly.
Who will have potential to start.
Exactly. It's a possibility, but we'll have to see and find out. Cornerbacks: Joe Hayden, Artie Burns, Mike Hilton, Cam Sutton, and Cody Sentabah.
Right. So nothing different from last year, except for Brian Allen and William Gay, of course, but still pretty good. Sean Davis, Terrell Edmonds, Morgan Burnett, Marcus Allen, and Jordan Dangerfield as the safeties. Shit.
I mean, it's a great safety, depth.
Yeah, totally.
Right
but like we said, with Morgan Burnett as potentially going to IR, Edmonds might get the starting job. But who knows? We'll see what happens.
And I'm really glad that Marcus Allen made the team because I definitely think he was so deserving of it.
Right, and he can just develop and be a great backup and a great special teams player.
He's a very hybrid player, and I like those kind of players.
Right, and us signing Nat Burhay back, eventually he'll... it all depends on who the Steelers cut or put on IR, and then he'll be brought back. But I'm glad to see Nat Burhay being brought back because we needed someone to replace Robert Golden's role at special teams.
Exactly.
We need someone opposite of Matt Cavish at special teams, and that is Burhay.
Exactly.
So I'm glad to see him back.
Exactly.
Who do we cut? Who we put on IR? I don't know, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Defensive line, obviously Cam Hayward, Stephon Tuitt, LT Walton, Tyson Alualu, Javon Hargrave, and Dan McCullers. Nothing different. And, of course, special teams, Chris Boswell, the GOAT.
Seriously, the GOAT.
Jordan Berry, and Cameron Kennedy. So, nothing different from last year. But, honestly, this is a very nice squad, if you ask me.
Oh, absolutely. Fantastic squad. Nothing different from last year, but it's got some new faces, some better talent, I think so. I think we've gotten a lot better since last year.
I think there's a lot more better talent now, minus Sagier. I think there is more better talent on this team compared to last year.
Right.
So, and I think adding James Washington and losing Martavis Bryant honestly might have been the best thing we could have done at the wide receiver position.
Probably.
It sucks to see what Bryant has done and the fact that he got released by the Raiders. It sucks to see his career go down. He has all this potential, but doesn't
it's not showcasing it.
And
it's very disappointing.
Right, and you've seen what James Washington has done in preseason. He has potential to be a better Bryant.
Probably.
Honestly. Maybe not as fast, maybe not as tall, but as a player, much more explosive, much more dominant, much more reliable.
Right, exactly.
So, anyway, that's the 53-man roster. That's the final cuts. That's the practice squad. That's the guys going on IR. So, hope you guys enjoyed. Give us your thoughts on everything in the comments below. And this week, you should expect a few videos. Obviously, the Steelers and Browns preview, because that shit is back. And I can't wait for that.
Exactly. In 1 week, Steelers football will be back.
Damn straight, man.
I'm so excited for it.
Seriously. And it's gonna be fun, man. So expect that video. I'm hoping Wednesday. Either Wednesday or Thursday or whenever. So.
I expect Wednesday. Thursday could be the week 1 predictions for the NFL regular season.
Right, yeah. And we're going to have a very special guest with us for the week 1 predictions. I want to give a huge shout out to Steel Sevenfold, who will be joining us for the week 1 predictions. And I think we'll even add a bonus to it and do score predictions, which is going to be pretty interesting. So.
Exactly, because it's something we have not done on the channel. I think doing that could very well be a lot more interesting and see if we can actually get it right.
Totally. So, and that should be interesting, and that's something you guys should be looking forward to this week. So, anyway, guys, that's the video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Give us your thoughts and comments below, and we'll see you guys in the next video.
Like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you later. Peace!